Donald Trump's big, beautiful birthday fascist parade was a flop. It was a big old dud. It landed like a lead balloon, as they say. They were expecting 200 to 250,000 people. They got somewhere between 50 and 100,000. So they didn't even get half of what they were expecting. They had like two entrances, but logistics were all screwed up. So most of the people were showing up in the back entrance, and then they locked that off because they didn't want any of those people to leave until Donald Trump finished his big, beautiful, big boy speech. And look, I will say this: I like a parade. I love a good parade. I love a good gay pride parade. It's very colorful, very lively. But this right here is a propagandistic thing that Donald Trump tried to do, where he used the 250-year anniversary of the military to give himself a big boy birthday party. And you look out into the crowd, some of the pictures, it looked pretty sad, and especially in comparison to the protests that were going on all across the nation, the No Kings protests. It looked, lackluster isn't even a word. I got a couple of clips here from some people on TikTok. This one is actually pretty good. He guy sums it up in a quick minute here.
Trump's birthday/military parade is being described by many as incredibly humiliating for him, and saying that internationally he may have humiliated America.
Look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. That is a lot of grass, man. That is a lot of grass. My God, man.
And that is the No King's Day protests were reportedly one of the largest mass protests in American history.
That was New York.
Openly mocking the Trump administration for trying to claim that 250,000 people went to his parade. Right in there, you have people asking, what did he expect? He has the lowest approval rating in history for a president at this point. People saying that Trump's parade was so empty and boring and quiet that you could literally hear the wheels on the Sherman.
Look at that! Look at those bleachers. They're basically empty, man. That's pathetic, man. And yeah, you could hear the tank squeaking.
Which, on the note of boredom,
look, in that Sherman tank's defense, that thing is like 80 years old. So, give the tank a break. The tank didn't ask to be there, and I'm pretty sure that the soldiers didn't ask to be there either. In fact, there are a lot of rumors going around that they intentionally just kind of walked. They didn't really try to goose step for him because they weren't really happy about being there. And they even played the song Fortunate Son. And I don't know if you're familiar with Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival, but the song is basically about a rich guy not going to war because he pretends he's poor or some other reason he gets him out of war. They are literally trolling Donald Trump. Bone Spurs McGee over here.
Was apparently not immune. It looked like he practically fell asleep several times. And in addition to that, you had many people saying that it appeared that our soldiers were unable to march in lockstep, with many, especially internationally, pointing to other countries compared to us.
Look at that.
For example, where you had Russians online mocking us, saying what Trump imagined his parade would be versus what it was. Right. Then also with this, we've seen a debate playing out amongst veterans who say, we're trained to march, so these soldiers intentionally did it poorly. With that actually being a talking point that both sides are using, but with different objectives, of course. Though there's also, as you had other veterans saying that the U.S. military doesn't have ceremonial marching units, so this was going to look like shit no matter what. Right, and all of that as, prior to yesterday's parade.
Yeah, just to reiterate what he said there, like when you talk about North Korea or China doing military parades, that is very fascistic, and that's the reason why we did not want that to happen here in America, but Donald Trump insisted on it. And, whether or not they were intentionally not marching really well compared to like China or North Korea, where they are very goose-steppy. They're all in lockstep because they have autocratic, authoritarian, fascistic dictators that if any of them fell out of line, they'd probably get shot. So I mean, that's one of the things that we are supposed to like about America is that we don't do military parades. We're not about showing off our military might on a street in the capital city. That was the whole point of people protesting it.
Army had reportedly spent over 3 years planning festivals all across the nation to celebrate their 250th birthday, where Americans would come and see items from the Army's past and present. But that ended up getting overruled by Trump, who decided that there would be no festivals and that the celebration would happen on his birthday.
I mean, he basically commandeered the damn thing for his own goddamn ego. Well, here's another one. I mean, just the squeaky tank and the empty, the empty seats. There was literally an army soldier walking by carrying a drone. God damn. It is so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. Cringe spectacle, U.S. Army parade in Trump's $45 million birthday event. So, how much money did they spend per person that showed up? I mean, let's just give it an average and say 80,000 people showed up. Is somewhere between 50 and 100. 80,000 people show up there, and it costs $45 million. I think you would have just been better off just paying those people cash. U.S. President Donald Trump marked his 79th birthday with $45 million parade in Washington, D.C. draws scorn from social media users, critics, and even the U.S. Army personnel for its tone-deaf extravaganza amid widespread protests and global tensions. I mean, the plan to do the No Kings protest was around for a long time, and Donald Trump, he was not happy. By the way, the No Kings protest, even though he threatened that if anybody protested in Washington, D.C., that they would be met by huge force. Huge force! He said it 3 fucking times. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., there were thousands and thousands of people out on the street that was formerly known as Black Lives Matter Street or Avenue or whatever. They were all out there. They were all out there by that church, the infamous church that Donald Trump had cleared out of the Black Lives Matter protesters, where he told Mark Esper, go out there and shoot him in the leg. And they didn't shoot anybody in the leg, thankfully, except for rubber bullets and what have you. But they cleared out that little plaza, and Donald Trump held up the Bible in that eerie ass shit that he did. The event was also commemorated the 250th anniversary. Honestly, that's the first thing. It's supposed to be the 250th year anniversary, celebrating the military, not Donald Trump's goddamn birthday. Featured nearly 7,000 troops, 150 military vehicles, including Abrams and Sherman tanks, 50 aircraft, including World War II. Era P-51 Mustangs. Trump salute from stage outside the White House as the display rolled past under a cloudy Washington sky. Despite fanfare, the parade was overshadowed by chaos both at home and abroad. Demonstrations erupted in the cities like New York, Philadelphia, Houston, Atlanta, with hundreds of thousands rallying. Well, it was a little bit more than hundreds of thousands. In the No Kings protest, criticizing what they saw as Trump's authoritarian leanings in Los Angeles, police deployed tear gas on protesters. Intentionally, tensions escalated as U.S. ally Israel exchanged missile fire with Iran. I mean, it's a bad look, y'all. It's a bad look to be doing a celebratory military parade. Meanwhile, we have got potential World War III. We have got American boots on the ground in America policing American citizens. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I don't give a shit, how big and beautiful his big boy birthday parade is. It's pretty goddamn cringe. Now, let's see what else we got here. Photos of the military parade mark Army's 250th anniversary amid anti-Trump protests. Large military parade showcasing America's power requested by President of the United States Donald Trump to mark the Army's 250th anniversary took place in Washington, D.C., featuring tanks, troops, marching bands. Hours before the parade, anti-war protesters displayed signs reading "Homes, not drones" near the military equipment exhibit on the National Mall celebrating an Army's birthday. This is the photo of the big, beautiful parade. And that's a lot of grass out there, man. I'm not saying that that's not a lot of people. I mean, shit, if my band played a show in front of 50,000 people, I'd be pretty damn happy. But in comparison to what you see at the No Kings protest, it's not even the same sport, y'all. There's the big boy right there. You know, the happy troops, probably not very happy. There's a handful of people out there by the Washington Monument. Honestly, I feel so goddamn bad for the soldiers. I really do. They are being used as a propagandistic tool. And, I mean, I don't know how many of them were happy to be there or not, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be happy to be there. And yeah, they did. It's funny to have black people in the Revolutionary War. I'm sure that there were a black person or two in the actual Revolutionary War, but, you know, they were hoping to not be slaves afterwards, and they ended up being slaves, so didn't work out so well for them. They got the tanks. Now look at the bottom of the tanks here. They had to put, like, steel bracing all down the street to make sure that these heavy-ass things didn't tear up Pennsylvania Avenue. There they are in their World War I outfits. All of the military boys are out. They got their big, you know, their big trucks. By the way, I like cars and trucks. I'm a big fan, man. And these are kind of cool, man. I will give the Army credit. I just didn't want to see them marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. There's a bit of irony. Union soldiers, the ones that defeated the Southern traitors, you would call them, you know, waving their Dixie flag. These are the guys that beat them. And meanwhile, all of those Dixie flag waving Americans that we have today, they're all on Donald Trump's side. There's the mall out there. Oh, man, look at that. Is that not the whitest picture you ever saw? Look at that. Just critically Caucasian. The only person of color is the vice president's wife. Oh, Lord, have mercy. You had a big 21 gun salute. They got, I can't wait till these things start patrolling our streets. Little dog drones. Ah, man. Actually, I give that credit. That's pretty cool, man. Look at that thing. That old World War I truck. That's pretty cool. Just wish it wasn't on Pennsylvania Avenue being used as a propaganda tool for Donald fucking Trump to distract from the fact that he was in the Epstein file and that he's doing tariffs and raising the prices of all our goods and trying to get us into the war in the Middle East. Here's the protesters in Washington, D.C. No Kings. Fuck Donald Trump. I miss my country. Trumpist. I'm guessing that's probably fascist. These are pretty good. I'd call Donald Trump a cunt, but he lacks depth and warmth. That's great. There's Donald Trump as a baby, big orange baby. Democracy, not no kings, dictatorship. No kings, no goddamn crowns. That's pretty good. Sometimes you have to flush. The insane reign of Donald the Terrible. So they were out. They were out in force. The protesters were out in force. And Donald Trump did not meet them with force. Anyway, So just so you know, this was sponsored by a handful of, good quality corporations. You can't have a good military parade without corporate sponsorship. So let's go through the list. 22 corporations and foundations are sponsoring the 250th Army Birthday Parade on the National Mall. According to the Army, General Dynamics, military contractor, and the USAA are the presenting sponsors for the festival, which also benefit from a long list of companies, nonprofits, including the Gary Sinise Foundation. Poor old Gary Sinise, he lost his way. Bell Textron, Wounded Warrior Project, Walmart, Lockheed Martin, Armed Forces Mutual, Boeing, First Command, General Electric's Aerospace, T-Mobile, King George Intercontinental Hotel Groups, and the NFL. And then there's a few other ones that are really interesting. We've got Lockheed Martin, Dana White's UFC, Coinbase, because of course crypto is involved. Palantir, the company that wants to develop a spy file on everybody in America, headed up by a real psychopath, Alex Karp, and that blood-sucking billionaire Peter Thiel, Elon Musk's roommate and buddy. And Alex Karp looks like a psycho Taika Waititi. I mean, look, we have honestly gotten to the point in our democracy where it's the ripping the copper wires out of the structure of the building part of our crumbling democracy. But we got Coinbase, Palantir, Amazon, Scott's Miracle Grow, Form Energy, which is an energy drink water done by Dana White, FedEx, and many others. It's pretty extensive, the amount of corporate sponsors for this fascistic wannabe military parade that none of the military wanted to be at, that played Fortunate Son with squeaky tanks and empty bleachers and an empty Washington Mall and Donald Trump looking pretty sad. And, Trump, our big, beefy, zesty boy, he did not look very happy. He didn't look very happy at all. And the fact that the protests, the No Kings protest, not only did it go off without a hitch, but there was no property damage, not even any, no scuffles, no fights. There were counter protesters in some of the bigger cities. No problem. The only scuffle that happened was in LA when they started pushing back protesters, the police did, with their horses and firing rubber bullets and mace. But that was the only time that there was any kind of violence during this protest. The rest of the major cities went off without a hitch. So poor old Donald Trump, he didn't rain on his parade, but his parade was pretty soggy. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.